Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Vox Jed Fight About It. And today we're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be having a time, having a chat. I'm finally back home. That's very nice. I'm very happy to be back home. I spent 10 days out of state, and oh boy. But yeah, Vox, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a nice Saturday. It's a little warm. I've got a thing this evening. I've got a reason to drink, so I'm drinking. But
Wow.
not for the episode, but for a thing later that I'm doing. But it's a good Saturday. It's been a good day so far. It's been a big week. It's been a big couple weeks. We had a guest last time. We did a bunch of guest questions and didn't prepare any news topics. So a lot of my news topics are a little out of date.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've got some stuff that happened yesterday and some stuff that happened almost 2 weeks ago. So we've got plenty of room here to
Hell yeah.
to discuss, and we've got a feature like a full length episode for you this week. We've got a full length
Last
episode for
episode
you this
wasn't
week.
that bad.
It was 15 minutes short of 2 hours. That's what
That's
15 minutes of an
an
hour
eight.
is like. Yeah, it's like an eighth of an episode.
What? Fair enough.
Dude, if
Fair
you go
enough.
to the fucking bakery and order a cake and they give you 7/8 of a cake and they're like, sorry, I ran out of time this week. You know, it's
Yeah,
like, what are you?
but
I'm gonna be a little annoyed.
if the baker is like attempting to like move somebody at the same time, I mean, I think it's fair.
Doesn't matter. Buck stops for no one.
Damn.
There are a million
But
podcasts
yeah.
out there, Jed. We've just got to be not in last place to get anybody to care about ours.
I think that we're not in last place. Like
I don't think we're making the
already.
worst podcast to ever exist.
I
No,
think
but
the
we should
worst
be.
podcast to ever exist is Dead Silence.
Yeah, well, no, I've seen some pretty bad podcasts. I've seen some
Yeah.
pretty bad podcasts, and most of them don't make it to the 10 episode mark even. But you know, which we passed, and I'm super happy to be past 10. We're barreling towards 20. It like now that we're out of the single digits, it's like, what episode are we on? 13. Jesus Christ. I think this is 12.
Yeah.
But we're on 12 this week. But 12 actually puts us at, what is that? 3 months of the podcast.
Pretty
We've
much.
been doing this.
Yeah.
We've made 3 months worth of fight about it week to week, and that's an interesting
And
thing.
not
That's-
missed a week yet.
Yeah, we
Like,
haven't missed a week yet.
Fought tooth and nail not to. A couple of
Yeah.
episodes have been missing, but they did come out at some point.
Yeah, no, we've still done an episode every week, and I still count those episodes because it was not our fault. And they still came out on time. But you know, it's 3 months. We haven't missed an episode, and doesn't that feel great to say? Because like on episode 2, you were like, oh, well, we could skip a week if we have to, and it's like, no.
Well, yeah.
No, we're on week
I-
fucking 2. Jed is the worst about that. I'm just like, oh, there's some slack, there's some wiggle room here, and it's like, no, we're doing a
you were
weekly
like,
show.
if we miss anything, we'll die. Because I was
Well,
like,
no,
uber
because
sick at some point.
Well, because you were sick, but you were getting better, and you were like, yeah, because like I had seen you be sick, and your sickness revolved into just like, yeah, no, you couldn't talk for like the first hour that you were around for the day, but once you got going, you could speak theoretically, you know, and if you bothered to medicate, you'd be fine, you know, and so I was just like, okay, Jed'll get some tea in him or something for before the show, and maybe like a Dayquil, and he'll fucking get over it. Because we're not missing one in the first 10. That's such a bad omen. Because to me, it's like, you sign up to do a weekly show, hell or high water, you make a weekly show. We've been off by a day on release a couple times, but that was due to some technical faults that usually weren't my fault. Like the Spotify for Podcasters page, sometimes when you schedule a podcast for Spotify, once it's scheduled and done uploading, you have to hit the final upload button. After that, you can't hit the final upload button and let it upload like it does on YouTube. And I forget that occasionally, and that's on me. But sometimes Spotify for Podcasters just won't put the episode out. Spotify just won't put the fucking episode out. So I have to like scramble to go find the draft of the episode that it told me was scheduled and ready to go. You know, after I hit final upload on it, after sitting awake at my desk until 6 a.m. waiting for exports and uploads to finish so that I know it's good, you know? And then the show comes out, and it's like, oh, the YouTube premiere is going. But I usually get it out on Spotify. I usually am awake and up and around Sunday by 3 p.m. So, you know, while the YouTube premiere, I usually count it as a success and a light fumble if I can get the episode out while the YouTube premiere is still going, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that means
But
I've solved it within the first couple hours. But 3 months of fight about it. 3 months of fight about it. I'm happy about it. We're
yeah.
going on 4. I'm hoping. Here's my goal, right? I know I said the first 10 is my goal, and I hope we can get past 10, and then I hope we can do 20 total episodes without losing this show for one reason or another. But I've expanded that goal, seeing as I'm pretty certain. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty certain we're gonna hit 20. Like, I don't think we've already got guest appearances. Well, I don't know if I've informed you, but I've already got our guest appearances planned out for next week, and then potentially 2 weeks from now, and then a solo episode in between. So we're pretty stocked up to make it to 15. So I don't think we're gonna do 15 and then like ritual suicide or some shit. Like, I don't think that's step 2 after record episode 15.
I mean, that seems like a good step 2. Fucking
I don't know.
record
Now that I think
50,
of it,
kill yourself, and then like go get McDonald's or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
Treat
stream that
yourself
episode so it still comes out. Treat yourself. Yeah, no, not McDonald's, but we'll go somewhere.
Well,
But that's 3 months of fight about it. 3 good months of fight about it. My new goal is 6 months. I want to hit 6 months, no missing weeks. We just have to do this, but again, I think we can. I think if you're like dead sick and can't talk half the episode, and we still manage to make a good episode, and you're like out of town on your mic, huddled in a hotel room for 2 hours, like while you're already on an insanely tight timetable to get things done across the country from home, and we could still release, okay, maybe not a good episode, but an episode, and it can come out on time. I don't think, it's not all your fault. I woke up half asleep and didn't write any topics, so that's
apologizing to you. I was apologizing to the listeners. This is your fault too.
Fair enough. Yeah, it is. I think it's pretty square on both our shoulders, because you didn't write anything either, and also not only did you not write anything, you didn't inform me we had exactly 2 hours to record, or I would have been well on my shit.
Figured you'd understand that, but
I'm not a mind reader.
Well, but you know how busy I was, and I had a timetable.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think we can do that again, is my point. I think we can do. Yeah. I don't foresee anything in the next 3 months. I'm not planning on getting sick, and if I get sick, I know I can power through for an episode of the show at the very least. Even if I have to like can a stream or 2 because I'm too fucking sick to sit at my desk, I'll make time to record a 2-hour podcast episode. That's not a big deal. Especially, I don't know, it's so non-pressured. It's such a pre-recorded thing that if I have to get up for a minute, it's fine. I can edit it out. I really don't wanna. I like the episodes where it's smooth and all I have to do is add the fade in, fade out, and the background and be done. But if I gotta, I'll do it. Anyway, I think we can do 6 months. That's my barrier. I think we can do 6 months, no missing episodes.
That in 4 months we'll be doing this in the same room.
Probably. So cool. If things shake out, really 4 months left in the year. August, September, October, November, December. That's 5 including August. But we're a little ways into. Oh my god, it's already August 10th. It's already August 10th. Jesus Christ, I just processed that. I woke up today knowing it was grocery day, the 10th. But now I'm just sitting here and going oh my god, we're almost halfway through August already.
Yeah.
It feels like the 1st was yesterday. That's what happens when WillowSMP is happening. But before we get to WillowSMP, you want to talk about your trip? You want to talk about your trip across the country and all the hardship you faced there?
Yeah.
And why you were gone last week out of state?
I don't want to get too into family drama, but I had to move my sister, and it was a lot of work. 2 people, my mom and I, had to work for 10 to 15 hours a day for 10 days straight, or not 10 days straight, but for 3 days straight, 4 days cleaning the apartment, and packing everything. And
would have been easier 4 days gay, just saying.
Yeah.
And hey, who knows,
Who knows? Maybe next time we'll be gay. But no,
maybe next time you'll be gay.
It was a lot of effort there, and then after all that, we had to drive back. So we flew out there from Arizona, 15 hours worth of flying. So leaving to go to the hotel, or not the hotel, but the airport, which was 2 hours away from us, and then getting on the first flight, which was 4 hours, and then a 2-hour layover, and then another flight that was 2.5 hours, and then getting to the hotel, and all said and done, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and we were all exhausted because we had been up since like 5 a.m. in Arizona. So that's really like 8 a.m. So it's like 8 a.m. to like 12 o'clock at night. So, but either way, it was all exhausting, and then it went straight into moving, and then right after moving, it went straight into driving, and it's still not over. It's still not over. And yeah, and that the reason it's not over gets into family drama, which I don't necessarily want to do. So
you're still moving things and still helping them settle in, and that's mostly why it's not over, I guess. But
yeah,
I gotta ask though, you've been operating, because I operate in EST, and pretty much everybody around you operates in EST as a baseline for some reason. I know Australians who don't have that many EST friends who just choose to operate in EST when it comes to scheduling, just because that's. I don't know if we East Coast folks are like a good baseline, or if we're just the folks who like refuse to learn time zones per capita.
I think you refuse.
I think that's the case. I think we're just like too stubborn and go, hey, this is what time I'm doing at ET. I don't know what it is in British cupcake time or whatever, but you figure that shit out. Here's the time zone. Here's what time we're doing it. Figure it out. You know. And I think we're just kind of self-centered assholes over here on the East Coast. But did it feel more natural, do you think, being in a place with Eastern Standard Time, since you've been practically operating on EST for a while?
I realized it's just an Arizona thing. But first of all, I didn't really notice the time zone shift too much, like ever. The only thing that I did notice is that like sunsets at 9 o'clock everywhere else that is in Arizona. Sunsets in Arizona at like 7:30. And it'll be completely dark by 8. But like everywhere else, it's like bright as shit up until like 9 p.m. and it's fucked up.
Yeah, no, 9 o'clock is about sundown, anywhere from 7 to 9, and then by 10 o'clock it's dark.
That's fucked up.
Unless you're gonna, maybe you'll hate this more, but due to daylight savings, during the winter, it's like, yeah, you've got daylight till 4 p.m.
Oh no, that's common.
It will be pitch black at 4 fucking o'clock in the afternoon. I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. I hate daylight savings for that. I wish it could just stay at like it's so weird because we're adjusting for like the seasons and whatnot, and how the days differ, and like how the sun's like rotation around the earth has a little bit of slack time in it. But I think we're adjusting the wrong way now, somehow, because it's like, you're adjusting and it's more off. It's somehow way more off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why we even make the daylight savings adjustment if it's just gonna be a worse time zone where we're experiencing half the day at night, you know?
Yeah.
Like, afternoon is night at that stage. But anyway, you had a trip. You went across.
It was a difficult trip.
You went across the lands. You scoured the earth. You had a time. You went to the world's largest cashew or whatever.
I went to the world's largest pistachio. I also went to the world's largest candle.
Oh.
Got a photo of me standing next to the world's largest candle.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They had like weird artisan candles that I didn't get to go in and see because I had to stay in the car with the cat.
Oh, that sucks. We'll do a road trip.
Yeah, that was a lot of the trip.
We'll make up for it. We'll do a proper road trip where we stop and see the sights at some point. But
I think it was in like Illinois though, so I doubt that we're gonna be going.
Illinois has a lot of that shit. I hear Illinois has a lot of like world's largest insert weird random thing here. I don't know what that's about.
I hate the like world's largest thing that we have because they're always like world's largest, but they're made of concrete.
You made a concrete pistachio. This isn't a big pistachio. Like, at least the world's largest rubber band ball is made of rubber bands. You know, I feel like, because I feel like with a cashew, it's like that's a food item. There's a reason there's not one that's like stories high, and even if there were, it would have like rotted years ago. You know, and like I understand the logistics of that. Then don't do a cashew. Don't do a fucking cashew. Well, a fucking pistachio. Either way, I don't know why I'm on cashews today. But
yeah, did you know that they come from fruit?
I did. Fuck you. But the world's largest like rocking chair, I think, is actual wood. Maybe.
Well, that
like,
makes
a lot
sense.
of those, because like when it's a man-made thing, that it's like, oh, here's the world's largest rocking chair, the world's largest, I don't know, spinning wheel. I think that's a real one. But like there's a lot of those sorts of things Here's the world's largest cotton gin. But like, it's a lot of like big mechanical things, and like that's cool. Those are really cool. World's largest cashew. You just kind of made a statue of like a pistachio, dude. I said cashew again. I know, but like you just kind of made a statue of a pistachio. And it's cool.
It's funny. It's funny looking.
It's like the Ohio corn statues. Did you get to see those? I saw those.
No.
They're fucking wild, dude. The corn field is not the concrete cornfield is not a good time. It's like a shitty tourist attraction.
The signs leading up to the world's largest pistachio all say "big nut ahead."
Dude, there's this sign in town. So, like, there's this like a little place that sells watermelon in the summer. I'm sure you have one. Everywhere has one. But like just locally grown watermelons, and it's like off the highway. Oh, weird. But they like, well, you live in the desert, of course. But like, why you fucking grow anything in your backyard? But like, there's these like signs for it on the side of the highway. I have pictures somewhere on my phone. But it says watermelon ahead, but it's just a JPEG of a watermelon, and then the word ahead. It's a very funny piece of signage. It's just like, and ahead is in like bold impact font in red on a white background. So it's just watermelon ahead. And it's not like a watermelon slice JPEG. It's just a JPEG of a whole watermelon.
Oh my god. Big
like
motherfucker.
It's a PNG because it's a transparent background. Like it just sits there in the white void with the word ahead. And I think it's very silly. I'll see if I can find a picture for next time. But that's tourist attractions like that are very fun. Tourist attractions like that are very fun, even though they're a little silly and a little dumb. Was the candle concrete as well? It wasn't just a big wax.
Yeah.
That sucks. You could do a big wax. Build in a part of the country where the wax won't melt. You've got the money to make the world's largest candle, and you can't put it in a cold enough area where it won't burn? Come on.
I mean, fucking anywhere in the sun, the candle will melt.
Not necessarily. There are places with enough cloud coverage that, like, it's not realistically, it's not gonna melt. And even if it does,
hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. Go find out. But I'll talk about this for a minute because it's like, why the fuck would you do it in concrete? You're just building the world's largest. You could do the world's largest candle store and have a big candle out there, and that's fine.
Oh,
but like,
it's not the world's largest candle.
It's not.
This is. It's the peace candle but
it's the fucking peace candle.
Yeah, no, it's pretty.
What did you go to like a monument and then go, wow, is that the world's largest candle? And it's like, no, this is for like Vietnam.
That's what they like. Shit. That's what I had heard it. But like, this is like the one that I went to. Looked like concrete, but it could be wax. Hold on.
And even so, even if the wax melts, you can add more wax. It's wax. Okay. Like,
I'm
Christ,
figuring out
I
if
don't
the
see
one
the
that I
big
went
deal.
to can be made a real wax.
I don't see the big deal. It's made of fucking wax. In fact, you could probably burn it. They make candles that you can add more wax to.
It is not.
It's not. It's not real wax. Damn.
It's not real wax.
Then my point stands. Stands.
Exactly.
You could do it out of wax. You could totally do it out of wax.
Pissed about it. Can't believe it.
I'm pissed about it too. I didn't know this thing existed like 10 minutes ago, but now that I do and I know it's not made out of real wax, I'm mad.
Warm Glow Candle Company located in Indiana. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Warm Glow Candle Company. Come on the show and defend yourself. Get the CEO of Warm Glow Candle Company. Send us a spokesperson and we'll like shoot us an email and we'll read it off on the show. How about that?
We'll drive to Centerville, Indiana to interview you directly. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I need you to go to business@tobuscus.net.
What?
Just like who's a shitty content creator who we could just send these fucking people to?
Alicia? I don't know. Fucking.
I don't know, man. I got Tobuscus on the brain because you made a Tobuscus reference. I was like, he's a shithead. Why not? You know?
Yeah.
Either way, you could reach us there. We should get We should get like Chalubi's business email and start handing that out as our business email. I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be funny to start just pissing off these companies, like doing like the sponsorship equivalent of like shaking a bee's nest and throwing it through his front window.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really funny. I think that'd be a spectacular idea. I'll ask him if he's got a business email when he comes on the show in a few weeks. Or maybe next week, depending.
I think he does. It's on his Twitter.
Is it on his Twitter? Awesome. We'll ask him what kind of stuff comes in his business email, because I'm very curious about his sponsorship opportunities. But that's an opportunity for another day. You want to talk about Willow? I want to talk about Willow.
Sure. Yeah, you talk about Willow first, because you were involved first.
Yeah, WillowSMP launched. WillowSMP season Trace launched. I wasn't ready to break out the Spanish. I wasn't ready to break out the Spanish. I wanted to do something funny, and I fought it.
Not Trace.
That's what I'm saying, you fucking idiot. I wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so I gotta fucking
bust out the Spanish then.
I thought it would be funny if I did it badly, because I don't speak Spanish, so I don't have the Spanish accent ready to go. I'm not revving up my R's to roll them, dog. I don't know what to tell you. They're not prepared. My poor tongue and throat are not prepared, and you can quote me on that, and only that, out of context. But
all right.
like WillowSMP season 3. WillowSMP season 3 launched, and it was a blast. It was an absolute blast to get started. For those familiar with us from ConsoleCraft, not from Willow, it's kind of a sequel series now. Considering, well, ConsoleCraft was a prequel to Willow, and now Willow season 3 is the most recent season after ConsoleCraft, so a lot of ConsoleCraft elements are coming to the forefront, specifically, like, Jed. There's a bunch of other stuff going on, but you were the biggest hit of anybody so far, in terms of, like, lore turnout. But we spent the first week, I established my character, I got a character intro up on my Twitter, I established my character, and Twig established theirs, and we kind of just, like, stopped doing lore for a bit and hung out. Nebula did a murder. We all know Nebula, friend of the show, had them on last week. We
need to get them on again because we fucked over that episode.
It's fine. We need to roll back our entire guest list at this point, practically, so it's fine. But what was I saying? We established our characters. Nebula committed a murder, and that was our first week up to Monday and Wednesday and Saturday. And then Jed comes on the following Friday, and brings the plot with him. And my introduction to the new season of Willow was very calm and very, very well adjusted. I mean, the first night was pretty hectic. It was pretty hectic because I was just saying hi to everybody, but it wasn't that bad. I had an opportunity to slip away. Jed didn't get to play the video game for like the first couple hours of being online. You want to talk about it? Go ahead.
So I have decided, or not decided, this was thrust upon me by he who shall not be named. But like, I'm bringing Herobrine to season 3, and so me showing up in a time machine from week 1 of ConsoleCraft with Herobrine brings everybody else who knows about ConsoleCraft or like wants to be involved to me, and I think I've become the main antagonist, like by accident.
You're the main antagonist. You're like the substitute antagonist until Herobrine shows up, practically.
Until he shows up, and then I'll be like the secondary antagonist until I get, whatever. Which is very bizarre. I really didn't expect that to happen. I thought I was going to be like mildly mischievous, but I guess bringing like the equivalent of like Hitler back is it's not reviewed
I would go for
well.
the Satan comparison, but sure.
Satan's it better, yeah. Yeah.
He's got like a supernatural element. He's not just like racist. People are really upset that you're just bringing a racist back to the server.
God,
that's the issue.
I can't believe this.
Fucking damn it. But no, Willow's been good. We had a really good lore day on Friday. I'm very excited I'm very excited with the turnout. I'm very excited with how things shook loose. Jed is having his moment in the sun, and I'm loving being a part of it.
I am like the center of attention of everything right now, dude.
Yeah, Jed is the center of the world until this Herobrine arc wraps,
and I get
and then
to
he gets
like
to just be my friend for a while.
I get to play the biggest asshole, dude. Like, I genuinely like my character in ConsoleCraft was a bit of an egotistical asshole, but egotistical. Right. But still, like, well-meaning, and you can have a conversation with him. Because I'm Herobrine out, and how I acted before I left to Vox, I've just decided to go with my character. It's just a big douche. while he's under Herobrine's control.
Yeah.
And so, like, the first thing that I did was call, like, Twig, like, a dipshit and stupid. And I've just stuck with that. Twig is just, like, I just harass Twig now.
Yeah. That's a character trait that you have. Whereas my character has taken a different turn. I planned my character to be, like a charming asshole. Where, like, he's sort of, like, dishonestly a nice guy. You know, he's got a very big facade. And he's literally just out to make a buck. And then I thought more about my character, and I wanted to add more depth, and I kept thinking on it, and I was like, oh yeah, what if he's, you know, what if he isn't the sole proprietor of Schematico? What if he is like the new up and comer sort of underdog of just like, yeah, my dad passed away and he left me his company, and nobody else thinks I'm like, everybody thinks I'm a nepotism hire because I am, and suddenly I'm at the top of the food chain, and everybody at this company fucking hates me for it, you know. And so here's what I'm gonna do. To prove my worth, I'm gonna leave, like, the board in charge, who have been in place for a while, and I'm gonna fuck off into the woods, and I'm gonna build Schematico 2 on my own. You know, I'm gonna make Schematico an international name. That's what I'm gonna do. And I wrote that, and, like, with still the intent, you know, that's basically what my character intro video will give you, with still the intent that, like, this guy sucks on the inside. This guy is an absolute shitball. But, like, I've been playing so heavy with, like, the nepotism angle and the lack of self-worth angle that, like, I'm kind of making him more sympathetic than I intended to. He's kind of a good guy. Like, he's kind of not a bad dude. But, like, he's very susceptible to scheming and corporate nonsense. So, like, you know, I'm playing more of a good guy who's unaware of how, like, toxic and bad he actually is, you know? Whereas, like, the original concept was like, oh no, this guy's gonna be the fucking worst and he's gonna know it. But, like, it's taken such a turn in practice, and it's just funny how things, like, we were talking about how lore changes with the advent of other people, but we hadn't ever talked about, we talked about that on the episode with Krim, who we need to have back on, because that episode doesn't exist anymore, but we've talked about it in the past without Krim as well. But we've never talked about, like, character evolution within the self, and just how an idea in practice from on paper can change completely from moment to moment. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, I was like, I gotta find out why I'm so different from everybody else on stream the other day, whereas, like, everybody else who was possessed by Herobrine wasn't really possessed. They were just kind of, you know, coerced via, like, hey, I'll kill you or your friends. Because, like, I'm going, like, full white eyes and everything. I think I'm going for, like, partial possession of just, like, yeah, he's inside of me a little bit. I like, saw his brain. I
like
peeped
Christ.
the horrors. We're chill. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Herobrine's Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
You're Herobrine Jesus. I think you should, in character, pull out the phrase Herobrine Jesus. I think that's very funny.
I will. I need to, like, get all of the mods in of just, like, okay, let's hammer these things out. Like, you know.
Yeah. But yeah. But we need to get some final things. You got a lot of DMs, I assume, the other night, or at least
I only got one. I was told about many others that I should be expecting, but I only got one, and it was from I don't know if they want me to share this or not, but yeah, it was from what was their name? Proz?
Yeah, Proz is cool. I haven't interacted with Proz before, but I was talking about it on stream of just, like, I've seen their stream before because I rated them once, and they're a neat guy. They're a pretty funny guy. I'm sad Jake Stone didn't make an appearance. He was, like, the highlight of my day the other day. He's like a fucking
dude.
Cryptid,
He would have given me the iron.
He would have. I keep talking about Jake Stone. I keep talking about Jake Stone on stream. My only interaction with Jake Stone in lore is not on my stream. It's on Nebula's stream from the other day, but it's not on mine. And so, like, to my stream, I keep referring to this, like, homeless man and pointing at, like, an empty house that he's constructing, and it's like, dude, you very easily could have just built that and claimed a homeless man came through and did it. You know? Like, I love this so much because my chat doesn't know. They think he, like, I'm sure they think he's a fucking cryptid. Like, it's insane. But, like, that's the thing. I'm having a lot of fun with Willow. Our little area is sort of blowing itself out of proportion again. Our little cabiny area.
Yeah.
which is all right because I'm hoping it'll take the heat off the Schematico building until it's done. And then when the Schematico building is done, then people will come and hang out with us in the finished building. Because I plan to put a lot of little RP spaces in there, and I don't want to talk about them on record because I want to leave some surprises. But I'm gonna have an office on the top floor, obviously, and a little balcony area. And it's gonna be like a corner office. It's gonna be a very nice executive office, and Jed's gonna have his like grungy little engineering area, and he can have an office too if he wants one. But I'm gonna have like a little secretary area that Twig will have. And Jed's gonna have his like grungy like airplane hangar ass workshop where the time machine will be and everything, and it'll be very reminiscent of the Henchman Underground, in fact, I think. But I think there's gonna be a lot of cool RP opportunity. That's what's been the fun part of building for me on this server so far is like things like my porch swing and my cabin and like just this set of cabins that we have in a circle sort of formation of just like we're just sort of a campsite, RP wise it's a very and it's like a big forest, and I you have my shader settings, right? Or is it just the regular shaders without the settings adjusted? Because I don't know if you've paid attention. The game is so goddamn pretty. Like, those shaders look really good in vanilla, but, like, the settings changes and everything in our little forest area is so goddamn pretty. And so it's just, and I tried looking around without shaders, and it was just as nice, honestly. It's a lot to do with just the modded biome that we're in. And I find it really cool, and I think that it's a very pretty area. And so it's a nice place to hang out. I think we chose well.
Yeah, I think so. You did. You chose.
Yeah, I did. I singularly chose the spot we're in. Woolen proposed like that valley where the water is. They wanted to like build like hanging builds over the valley, and I was like, that's a cool idea. It's day one and I have nothing. I just need somewhere to hang my head. I'm gonna go build a log cabin now. And so I fucked off and did that instead. Unfortunately, because I kind of wanted to participate in that, but it's like, oh man. And you didn't get to meet the communists who live up the mountain from capitalism. We have a little rivalry, Peanuts and their gang. And there's just a lot of organic like quasi lore happening where it's like, the communists and the capitalists have a little thing against each other, and it's like and like it exists in lore and out of lore, and so we sort of fool around that way. I think there's a lot of good interplay happening on the server. Anyway, what? Jed?
With the hello?
Yeah, you cut out for a second. Go ahead.
I'm just glad that Krim gave me an out with the like Herobrine stuff, because I have a hard time playing of like, this is what my character would do, so that's what my character would do, of course, You have
a hard time diverting yourself at all.
I have a hard time diverting myself in character,
In character, you can turn that corner. I turned that corner for you like 8 different times and gave you like 8 different outs. And every time you looked dead at me and went, nuh-uh, and you wouldn't give it up until it was literally physically impossible.
Yeah, well, because like that's his only goal here is to fucking get here, like speak to his boss, And so like, why would I fuck off and get iron,
I don't know, man. That's
such
the
a
thing,
difficult
though,
time.
You have such a difficult time, and it's like, because like I felt that so hard when Krim left an hour into Jed going, I need some iron so I can light this thing, and then fucking, and then Krim comes back like 30 minutes later, and I'm like, dude, you're not getting the iron. Stop asking. You don't need to. There are other ways to handle this. And Krim goes, are we still having this conversation? Like, it kind of felt like an out of character frustration. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but like it definitely felt like an out of character frustration of like, yes, it's like as much as we couldn't do a getaway for you to play the game, it also was like kind of self-imposed on yourself of just like Jed hasn't been able to play the game of his own volition, basically. I was happy to do the lore for as long as you wanted to do it. But, like, it was just, like, a thing of, like, we're running in circles and have been for a minute.
It was kind of funny, though, because, like, I had given up the iron thing mostly, except, like, one of the people who almost gave me iron was back, and I was like, oh, hey, can you give that to me? It just, like, jokingly, and that's when Krim had overheard it, so it just sounded like I've been doing this for, like, a full hour.
No, yeah. But, speaking of Willow stuff, I'm kind of out of my content slump. I mentioned on the show, I believe I mentioned it on the show. I meant to if I didn't, where I sort of got myself into a depression and sort of like, not like a proper depression, but I was sort of at a low with with myself and my content, and I was just like, man, I don't know, numbers are bad, content doesn't feel as good to make right now because I'm just kind of passing time until Willow, and then Willow kicked up, and now I'm fine. Now I have a big project to work on, and on top of that, I'm playing not Signal Sim, Jesus, Voices of the Void on my own, in the background, and I'm having a lot of fun with that, and that's doing a lot for me personally. And I think what I've realized is I'm just sick of playing vanilla Minecraft on stream.
Yeah.
I did,
You
like,
do
I
it a
kind of just
lot.
burnt myself out on it a little bit, and that's fine. That's fine. I'll come back to it at some stage, but I need to just stick to modded and other games for a little bit. I need to fill my Tuesdays and Thursdays with other games and play Willow Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like I did last week. I plan to keep that schedule. I don't know for how long, but just until it stops feeling as exciting for me, and then I'll pop it down
together.
Yeah, I'll probably put it on Mondays and Thursdays whenever I get sick of the 3-day schedule for Willow. But we'll get back to Change Together. We still got to do Decay. We're still under obligation to do Decay at some point, and I realized that yesterday. I remembered.
Oh right, yeah.
So we're gonna be doing that as well. Not this upcoming week, but soon. Trademark. I'm gonna get the mod set up. I'm looking around. I haven't done a proper dig to see if I can find a different version of the mod that works on the current version of Half-Life. But we're gonna get it figured out. But in the meantime, we're gonna finish Chain Together. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna play some Willow. It's gonna be a good time. But I'm out of my content slump, and believe it or not, I've had chat, more specifically a chat member coming into my chat like every stream, every other stream almost, going, "Hey, where's more console craft? Give me more console craft videos, please." Please, we want more console craft videos. Like, people are asking me to make more edited console craft videos, and it's like, oh, I didn't know there was a demand for this. Maybe I'll get back to it. I still have all the footage, and I'm still slowly chipping away at one that, like, isn't going to be that good of an episode. And because of, like, the quality-wise, content-wise, it's pretty good, but quality-wise, it's going to be a pretty poor episode, and so I'm, like, a little about editing it, and have been for the last almost 2 months now. Well, a little over a month. But no, yeah, I'm working on that, and I'm working on Willow stuff, and working on the console craft stuff is great in the background with the Willow stuff. Now that you're back, because your character just got back from the future in console craft at the point I'm editing, which of course none of that is abiding because it sort of got retconned kind of in canon, where like some of it can still be the truth if you want it to be. And so I'm just like, I need to get a notes document for it so I can hold on to little nuggets. Because I heard something you said the other day, and I was like, oh, that's really good. That's really good. We have to include that, you know? And I just haven't gotten back to it yet. And so I'm gonna, and it'll be great. But no, yeah, I'm out of my content slump. I'm back on my shit. I'm gonna make console craft videos again. I'm gonna finish that out. And yeah, no, that'll be great. I'm excited for the future. The numbers are looking good. Content's looking good. Nothing could possibly be better than it currently is.
That is a active like challenge to the world to make it worse.
That's why my life is so fucking awful in such like loud spurts, is because I say shit like that and spur it on. That's what happens. That's what happens. Speaking of being out of my content slump, I got plans for 2025. I have my own little not so evil project 2025 that I'm working on. And it's I'm redoing a bunch of my stream assets, and I'm gonna get a new PNG. I'm gonna get a PNG plus PNG tuber this time, so I'm gonna have a little bit more
still
motion.
From MK.
Hopefully, that's the dream. I know MK. I'm pretty sure MK doesn't. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure MK doesn't know how to rig for PNG Tuber Plus, but my hang up is that I can't do the art. I can figure out the rigging. That's fine for me to figure out. I'll watch some tutorials and figure it out. And figure out exactly what I want and make some placeholder assets, and then I'll just send those placeholder assets over and go, hey, I need you to make it like this. I need you to make it in this many pieces, because I don't even know PNG Tuber Plus. I need to figure it out myself, and how I would draw a model for that. And then how I would rig a model for that. But I might, if MK doesn't want to do it that way, I'm happy to, I'm considering, like, I might move away from MK for that, solely because if I can find an artist that does art that I'm happy with, art style-wise, and this is an open call, I would put a tweet out about it on Twitter, but A, it's a little too soon, and B, when you ask about commissions on Twitter, you immediately get flooded with like 50,000 graphics artist bots coming in to sell you like esports logos.
Yeah.
That are probably AI generated most of the time. But that's the thing, is that like this is an open call. If anybody knows anybody who does PNG Tuber Plus, get a hold of me. Go join my community server or something. We'd love to have you,
Yeah.
and I need to like, my DMs are always open on Twitter and on Discord, so find me. But if I can find somebody who I'm happy with, who I'd like to do it, I'll get them to do it. I'm thinking about maybe having Willen do it, but I don't think Willen does PNG Tuber Plus, and I don't know. I'd prefer to have MK do it though. I'd prefer to have MK do it because they've been so loyal and they've been so nice to me, and they give me some pretty swank prices, if I do say so myself, and some really fantastic art for the price as well. And yeah, no, that's what I'm looking forward to right now, is I'm getting that redone. But I'm doing a lot of my assets myself this time. I'm trying to do as much of it myself as I can. And honestly, I've been putting it off for a while because I was like, oh, I've been hiring professional artists to do my assets for so long that like, if I do it all myself, I'm gonna like have a noticeable step down in quality from what I had to what I'm getting. And that's not quite the case yet. I'm doing the stuff I'm comfortable doing, and it's, if not of quality, if not of better quality, I think, than
nice.
sort of like makeshift stuff I was doing before through like commissioning artists to act outside of their comfort zone and make stream graphics for me. But you know, it's working out nicely. I think it works. I think it's working well. Anyway, that's I plan to do that over the course of the next year. Like between now and June 2025. At June 2025, at the end of June, I plan to have my entire thing set up. I would do it the way that I did last year's and the year before, where every year I just get a bunch of art done in November and December, and then cram all the stream updates in January. And then it's like, hey, Happy New Year, Happy New Vox, you know? But this time around, I think it works better, not only because I'm going to be moving, and you're going to be moving as well, but I'm going to be moving, and that affects my financials, and so I won't have a large sum of money to just huck at artists to get it all done in time for January. And on top of that, I don't really mind not doing it as a blowout, because it's not like it's going to be mismatched, you know? Like, I think all my current assets still match as I'm updating them. Because for once, this is the first time that I'm not changing any of my brand colors, really. I'm moving away from the red and yellow to just, like, orange as like, a singular, like, an orange and yellow vibe. But, like, that's a light tint change, and that's, like, it. And like, you know, I think a lot of my other assets still match perfectly. It's not like it's not like it's gonna look silly if I change some as I go, you know? And I'm working on new emotes, I'm working on sub badges, I'm working on stuff all the time these days, and I'm staying busy, and the stream is forever updating, and alongside making great content, my content feels even better now that I'm able to and motivated to work on it when I'm not actively streaming, you know?
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
anyway, that's
it's
enough.
fun to just like have an asset party while you're not streaming or not about to stream.
Yeah, that's my big gab and big yap about like stream assets and what I'm working on there, and how my streams are going. But no, yeah, let's see. We talked about your trip. You got a topic you want to go for next while we're here? At sort of a bum crossroads.
Sure. We're gonna hard pivot right now, and we're gonna talk about New York Times games, specifically Wordle.
I've
This
been
is kind of an
playing a lot
old
of New York
topic.
Times games.
I haven't been doing a lot of Wordle, but
I mean to get back to
a few weeks ago, we started as a group playing Wordle and Connections and like all the New York Times games, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun just to like, oh yeah, it was
good group bonding
real
activity
good on the Wordle.
To like come in every day to the Discord and go, oh, I saw your Wordle posted, and so you got it in 3. That's pretty good. I only got it in 4, but you know, I got tripped up on like the second letter for a second.
Bullshit.
Or like this connection, that'll like, you know, saying things like, you know, oh, this week's Wordle was a little bit hard, but it was understandable. And then that old lady who writes the connections should be the next to get an assassination attempt. Like those two things
That's a real
back
one.
to back.
That's a real
I don't think
one
I
that
said
Doc
that.
said.
I don't think
Yes,
I
you
actually
did.
said that, but if I did, it's a funny
Yes,
bit.
you did.
It is a funny bit, so I will take it. I will take credit for it because it is a funny thing to like wish death upon an old lady who just makes little fun word games on the internet.
Little fun word games. The rat
That's
on
what
the
she
internet
does.
does not like my word games.
Whatever shall I do?
I will die. Ah.
Oh.
Eh. But no, yeah, New York Times Wordle is fun.
New
It's
York Times Wordle is really good. I
you
think
know,
that's the best New York Times game, personally.
I
It's
like
pretty classic,
connections
but
more.
Connections is pretty good, but I think it's good for the word association girlies out there. And I'm one of them sometimes. I just like I never seem to be on the same like mental page with the connections lady, you know? I
Yeah.
always feel like I'm like there's like there's always a category where like oh there's three of a kind, but or there's four of a kind, but these four of a kind these like three or four of a kind are one from each category. That's how they're trying to trick me. Let me try angle number two. And sometimes it really
Mhm.
is that easy. Occasionally what trips me up is it really is that easy and I did get it immediately for a first category. But a lot of the times it's like I just don't think four guesses is enough, personally. But I
Yeah.
don't think Connections is a game that you're meant to win, really. I don't think the objective is to win as much as it's just like to see how far you can get, you know? It's like you can
Yeah.
win, and it's not that hard to win, but like, you know, on a good day. But some days you're just gonna get tripped up and you're not gonna know the double meaning of a certain word and you're gonna be tripped and like, wow, I didn't consider that like this is a synonym for that or that like these two are homonyms or I didn't append like music genre rock like blank rock to the like end of it to fucking figure out that those go together. You know, those kinds of categories always
Yeah.
trip me up because it's just like, how the fuck was I ever supposed to know that without, you know, sometimes they're very good general knowledge. I think I'm just stupid. Because sometimes they just get a little too deep into like general knowledge, into like a niche topic, like music, like genres of folk music or types of sparrow, you know, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I knew three of these, but like the fourth one
I knew
tricked me,
three of these.
you know? Like, yeah, no, that's
Mhm.
the trouble. And then it's like, I don't know what the fuck the fourth one could be. But no, yeah, New York Times games are fun. New York Times games are fun. I have a good time with them. I just like I forget to do them a lot of the time. Hard to keep them in my routine.
Yeah, yeah. I had a routine for them, and then the trip happened, and then I stopped having the routine for them. So you know, um,
It's
but
a good
yeah, New
small
York
talk
Time
thing though.
games.
It's a good
It
small talk
is.
thing. I think it's nice to pop into the VC and go like, oh, Wordle connections, you know. I think it's a good time.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh. Less fun topic to talk about. Small talk. Politics.
Uh-oh. Politics.
um, politics. Very briefly, politics. I feel like. Did we end up talking about Biden stepping down?
We didn't end up talking about it. I strayed away from talking about it just because I don't like it matters a lot to me personally, but like we're not a
Yeah.
political podcast, so I was like, we'll talk about movies instead. It'll be fun. But
Yeah.
I think the state of the world is looking brighter with Kamala Harris, Tim Walz combination as the next set of presidential candidates. I'm not big on Kamala as a person. I'll admit I'm not huge on her history as a cop, but I'm not so chronically online that being a cop is enough to stop me. There are other reasons that like Kamala Harris
Yeah.
is not I would never choose Kamala Harris as my friend, but her political beliefs align with mine very well and align with like what I consider basic human decency of just like, yeah, kids should have free school lunches. Yeah, Social Security should be government funded so that it may continue, you know, instead of funding the military quite as heavily. They can spare a few
Yeah.
$1 million to like keep our elderly, you know, funded without like having to die out because they're too old or
Fuck our
too
elderly. We
senile
want
to
more
work.
nukes.
Yeah, more nukes are a good idea. I don't know. I just don't see what you get after 7. I think I think
Yeah.
I think you have more than 7 nukes. You've got the most nukes
Fox,
you'll ever need.
we had a story about it, or I have a story about it, because we were talking about this, and like
We were, yeah.
Vox,
I love this conversation. I was like, yeah, what does the United States have? Like, what, 10 nukes? It's like, no, we have like hundreds.
We have like
They're like state to
like
state. They're everywhere.
yeah, we've got like an ungodly amount of nukes. We've got like more nukes just in the US to blow up the world like 7 times over.
Yeah, and it's
And
just
like
like
Vox is just like, what? Why?
because like you grow up and you hear about the nuclear deterrent and you hear about like the issue of like mutually assured destruction and it's just like, oh, if everybody has them, nobody has them, because like if somebody pulls that trigger, everybody's gonna retaliate and it's gonna be a fucking problem. And so like the nukes are probably realistically, unless we get some absolute madman in charge of the nation, which we've already had, a couple of times, I don't think the nukes are ever gonna get used. I don't think the nukes are ever gonna get used. I think they're gonna just stay where they are. I just never one nuke. The United States having one singular nuke was enough for me to go, oh no. I thought we had like 10. I thought we had 10 nukes. I thought we had like 10 of them. Yeah. And it's just like, because realistically, 10 nukes is enough. If you have more than 10 nukes, you fucking have too many nukes. That's like those people who own like 20 cars, and it's like, dude, you can only drive one at a fucking time. You can't like. It's not like it's not like you can like. You can't nuke your car. Like you can't nuke your car. You can't nuke the fucking like enemy like 17 billion times over. I mean, you can, but it won't matter. Like there's like sort of like a return on investment issue after like the first one. Like you're just blowing millions of dollars to. It's like it feels like just fucking kicking somebody when they're like dead. Like not a dead horse, but just like beating a man to death, and then like no, beating a man to death, and then just keep it on hitting him. Like that'll show him, and it's like nobody's showing him anything anymore, dog. I don't know what to tell you.
That motherfucker's dead.
You are just burning energy for no reason, and it's just like such a thing. I don't know how we got the nukes, but like I don't think the nukes are ever gonna get used. But I'm glad. I'm glad Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the leading candidates right now, and once like the couch fucker thing happened with Trump's VP, which was pretty funny.
Which isn't even real.
It's not even real. It's not even real. It's just he gives off enough of a couch fucker vibe that like, people ran with it.
Instantly was just like, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, I could buy that he's weird enough to have done that. Fine. And the Republicans are just not making any of the right moves, and the Democrats are making the right moves, and it's looking like an easy sweep. But I need to inform you folks, it looked like an easy sweep the other way, like 3 weeks ago. I hate to tell you, you still got to go out and vote. It's anybody's game until it's not. This election
cycle. Except for the Republicans. The Republicans have God on their side, and Jesus will make sure. So don't vote because Jesus will handle it. That was one of the best jokes that I saw. Was like,
that's so funny.
Trump is God's pick, so don't vote. Just let God handle it. He'll take care of us.
that's like, yeah, that's such a good like satirical bit. I love it.
Yeah.
But like, cause like I love that phrase so much. Just to like, no, I'm gonna let God fix it. Yeah. Like just to like, I could fix it, but I think I'm gonna let God fix it. And just like that's my stance on violence. In that like. I don't want to attack anybody, even though they probably deserve it. Like, if I saw a neo-Nazi walk in the street, it's just like, that's not my fight. I'm a scrawny little white boy. But somebody's going to have their go at this guy. Someway. He's going to get what's coming to him. It's literally a matter of time. There's no use in me getting my ass kicked by a Nazi about it. Like, that's my stance, is just let God fix it. Let the people around the corner who are willing to like go to jail or like do an assault for that, like who won't find themselves biting the curb in 3 seconds flat into a fist fight,
Yeah.
Let them deal with it.
Oh man.
But no, yeah, but that's politics corner for the time. You wanna clean our hands of this with a fun topic?
Sure.
I got a TikTok the other day that was like, fuck zodiac signs, fuck everything else. The real true show of a person and their integrity and who they are really, really down on the inside is their top 3 Muppets. You gotta have a top 3.
Top 3
if you
Muppet?
Don't have a top 3, you gotta have a top 3. I'll run you through my top 3 because I spent an hour thinking about it last night, assembling my perfect top 3. It's Kermit the Frog, second. Third place, Rizzo the Rat, because Rizzo the Rat and Gonzo as a duo would make first place immediately. There are so many groups of Muppets that would make first place instantly if you could include 2 or maybe 3 Muppets as a singular, like, spot on the list, but like, nah, you gotta pick a single Muppet for each slot. So, and I think Gonzo has a little more depth than Rizzo the Rat, but I think he's a funnier, littler guy, and so, like, that's why he wins in my book. And then my first place pick, so it's second place Kermit. I know Kermit's kind of a raw pick, but Jim Henson's Kermit specifically, because I feel like there is a lot of depth to that character, the way he plays him. And he's a fucking self-insert, let's be honest. But well, and then third place is Rizzo the Rat, obviously, because it's insane that he makes my top 3 Muppets, but this is like a singular Muppets category, you know. And then my first place is kind of a gag pick that I think is gonna throw everybody. It's God, what's his fucking name? I forgot his name again. Hold on.
Oh wow, your number 1 Muppet and you don't know his name.
That's how much of a bit this is. That's how much of a bit this pick is. Where, like, because he's such a bit Muppet is the problem. He's such a bit Muppet. Gosh, hold on.
Okay.
New Zealand and his amazing boomerang fish is my top Muppet.
What?
He's such a funny nonsense bit that I think, like, you know, I'm so fond of running gags that are just like, I'm gonna say a phrase and everything is going to be derailed in an instant. You know? Like, I love that so much. Just like the phrase, may I introduce to you New Zealand and his amazing boomerang fish, and then a boomerang fish goes flying onto the screen, and then everybody fucking loses it, and chaos ensues, and that's the punchline to a very long joke. I think is so righteously unfunny that it comes back around to being the funniest fucking bit in the entire world.
That's so stupid.
That's
so
my top
stupid.
3 Muppets. Those are my top 3 Muppets. Take them or leave them. What are your top 3? Do you have a top 3, or do you need to?
The, like,
Rolf.
chilled out dog guy. Rolf is number 1.
Okay, all right. That's not a bad pick.
number
He almost
2,
made my top 3. Fozzie is
and
also.
Swedish Chef.
I thought you were about to say Sweetums. I thought you were gonna go for Sweetums,
Sweetums? Who's Sweetums?
the big one.
Let me see him. He might.
The one that's like atrociously large and like
yes.
he's just like a big sweet
he's
guy. Okay, yeah, he's next down the list beyond your top 3.
Yep,
Awesome.
he's third.
Oh, he's third? Okay.
Yep. So
Awesome.
number 1 we got Rolf, we got Fozzie, and then we got Sweetums. There you go.
Yeah, a pretty all-star cast. Sweetums is kind of a B-list pick, but like overall, I think you've picked pretty much all A-listers for
I've seen like the Muppet
for your running roster.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of the Muppets.
Muppets
So
are good.
that's kind of just like, those are the ones that came to mind. I probably would have picked Sweetums if I knew his name, so that's why I went with him. But like, yeah, the Muppets are fun. That was a fun topic to go away from like political unrest.
Yeah, I think favorite Muppets is a Thanksgiving dinner topic that the whole family can approve of.
Yes.
But you want to talk about something upsetting?
Oh god.
Something real,
okay.
real
Are we
upsetting?
doing like Whiplash the episode? Sure.
Yeah, we're running right back to it. We're running right back full force. Russell T Davies, showrunner of Doctor Who. You know, okay, so you don't need to know much about Doctor Who for this bit. You don't need to know much about Doctor Who for this bit. He didn't do anything deplorable.
Okay.
Well, he kind of did, but it's not morally reprehensible. It's just sort of a dickhead move. So let me run you through this one. You don't need to know about anything about Doctor Who, audience. Just know that at a certain point in the new season of Doctor Who, we meet the Doctor, and then we meet his current companion who begins traveling with him, and then that's the episode. And the next episode, suddenly it's been 6 months. There's a 6-month time jump between episode 1 of the new season and episode 2 of the new season. Maybe it's 2 and 3. I think it's 2 and 3. It's 2 and 3. It's 2 and 3. So we get episodes 1 and 2, and then from 2 to 3 is a 6-month time skip. Everybody over at Big Finish is absolutely wetting their jorts with solely Earthbound adventures of these two characters. because they have an opening. Except they don't! Because Russell T Davies in an interview, despite it being in the text of the episode, said, I don't know why people think there's a 6-month gap. There's not a 6-month gap. It's just some timey-wimey nonsense I put in. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, Davies.
You know why he did it? He wanted to explain an episode from the 70s where Sarah Jane says she's from the 80s and not the 70s, and so he wanted to establish the concept that the TARDIS, the time machine in the show, has sort of like a time distortion effect on the brain, and so it's very easy to lose track of time in there, and he wanted to play on that. But those two stories do take place back-to-back in canon, but no, it's just the way he worded it. If he just went, there is no time jump, I just did a weird thing, I could go, aha, funny Doctor Who canon continuity mishap, it's fine, it happens. But the way he explained it, despite in the episode going, it's been 6 months, right, from Christmas, it's July now, it's July 2024 for you instead of Christmas 2023, despite that being in the text of the episode and spoken in the episode, he goes, I don't know where people got the idea that there's a 6-month time skip. I don't know where people got that idea. I didn't write it. It's not. That's not what I meant. Like, not only is that not what I meant, the only people who think that's what I meant are chronically online fucking weirdos who obsess over fandom to an unhealthy degree and need to go the fuck outside. And it's like, dog, he didn't say it quite with that much aggression, but that was what he said. And I was just like, dog, please, you concluded the mystery of the series with, it doesn't really matter, does it? You know, the finale was fun. And it's like, I almost had your back. I almost defended you.
I tried so
on just
hard.
Like, it was a weak finale, but sure. And then he comes out and goes, yeah, that mysterious character that's been in the background and, like, spoken directly to camera a couple times and has been a big mystery, we might not ever explain that. We haven't explained it, and we might not ever explain it. And so I was just like, what the fuck are we doing? And then he does this, no, there is no time skip, actually. Bullshit. And now I'm, like, mad. Now I'm, like, infuriated. I'm just like, can we bring Stephen Moffat back? Because at least his answers were convoluted, but at least he had answers. At least he had satisfying answers to the questions, you know?
The questions were just, like, fucking 10 miles long.
Yeah, at least, like he had an answer to why is his jacket off when we cut back to him for a second. And it was a damn good answer. I'm certain he didn't plan that, because the payoff for that doesn't happen until after the season finale of the next season, I believe. Like, actually, no, after the season finale of the current season... But it, like, really, really doesn't pay off, and is never really truly explained to the audience, but it is an inbuilt answer for that. And I'm almost certain that that's just not, like, how that worked. But anyway, that's my Doctor Who corner
Davies,
for you. Russell T. Davies, you should not kick your feet up. Do not get the vibrator out. You have done absolutely horrible.
Fuck you, Russell T. Davies. Come on the show and defend yourself. I have not.
Have you seen that post where people were like, every time a good episode from last season would release, somebody would tweet, Russell, bring out the vibrator, kick your legs up on the table, hon, you've done a good job. You know, and that paints an image in one's head. But
Davies fucking going down on himself
for writing a good episode of Doctor Who and then premiering it. Yeah. But like every time what Twitter would deem as like a subpar episode from last season would release, they would go, Russell, you can kick your feet up, keep the fucking vibrator in the drawer. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. And then, like, if a bad episode happens, if, like, a truly bad episode happens, or he makes a bad decision, people are like, don't even kick your feet up. You get right back to fucking work, buddy. Nuh-uh. Not a moment's peace. And it's so good. It's such a good bit. I just love how aggressively gay the Doctor Who community is. I love that the community is so aggressively, like queer in-baked. And it always has been. But, like, that's, like, the public discussion and language being used about Doctor Who is about, like, the showrunner, like, fucking masturbating after the fact. You know? For making a good episode, like whacking himself off, but
not just whacking, like
he's penetrating, dude.
I was gonna say that, but
Russell T. Davies, come on the show and whack off.
Russell T. Davies, we will give you 2 hours to kick your feet.
We'll give you 2 hours to kick your feet up on this here table, this digital table we've got right here.
We're gonna
facing the camera. facing the camera, and then you
Facing
can
the
go for
Camry,
it.
not the Camry. It'll get traumatized.
Toyota Camry.
Nah.
No!
Oh my god.
All right, but
Russell T
that was my
Davies,
Doctor Who
don't attack
related
the
fucking
Camry,
tirade.
please.
That was my Doctor Who related fucking tirade for the moment.
Oh my god.
Speaking of private parts, the
Uh-oh.
Olympics, huh? Yeah. So for those
That
uninformed,
motherfucker, he was so upset about it.
there are so many moments in the Olympics this year that were so top tier. That like, for instance, there was the guy that we're talking about right now who fucking like failed at pole vaulting, I think it was, right?
Yeah, it's
Because
pole vault.
he like, yeah, because like the pole got caught on his massive fucking package, dude. He's like, he's
like, you
cock
can see
knocked
him, like,
the thing,
fucking...
and he just failed. Have you watched it in slow mo? It's so
I
funny.
have.
It's such a good clip. I would pull it up if I could. But and then there was that guy absolutely fucking breaking it down on a pommel horse, like just going for it. I don't know if you saw that one. He was fucking
That
having a
motherfucker was
time.
there for the pommel
Apparently
horse.
he's blind. I didn't know that, but either way, you know, he was having a good time, and he was busting it down, and he was real impressive about it. And those
There's
are two really
actual people
funny
busting it down.
athlete moments. There, oh yeah, breakdancing is in the Olympics this year. I've heard nothing but mixed things about
It all
about
looks real
breakdancing in the Olympics.
bad.
Yeah, no, that tracks. Breakdancing in the Olympics sounds like an idea you have when you're
There's
real high in college, and then it never comes to fruition, obviously, because any sober, sane person will realize that while breakdancing may be exercise, and it may potentially even be a sport, competitive dancing is a thing, of course. I just don't know if breakdancing should be an Olympic sport. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't think, like, because, like, some people are going to be like, oh, but, like, chess and, like, Overwatch are technically Olympic sports now. And it's like, yeah, kind of, but also those shouldn't be Olympic sports either. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not defending any of that shit.
There's the 50-year-old guy from Turkey who, like, didn't have any special equipment.
He
and
had
just
ear
fucking,
protection.
like, got second place. Yeah. No,
I
he
do
had,
want to
like...
say, because people were... Because, okay, so yeah, no, people were coming through and they were like, oh yeah, no, this guy did it with, like, no... Everybody for the, like, the what is it? What is the professional marksmanship thing? Is it like is it a marksman? Yeah, all of the marksmen were wearing like aim training glasses, like some shit you would see like an esports player wearing to get like to get rid of blue light during their Overwatch games or some shit. And like it's to like assist with their aim. I don't know how it's legal. I don't care. You know, I don't know anything about marksmanship. I don't know anything about that, like pistol marksmanship as a sport. I have no idea. I have no idea what the regulations typically are, so I don't want to speak on that. It just seems kind of odd. And then this guy rocks up, and people are talking about it like he rocked up with nothing, no ear protection, no nothing. He did have the proper protection. He had earplugs in. He was safe. And no, yeah, but he does just rock up and, like, for lack of a better word, people are misusing this a lot recently. He just raw dogs that shit and comes in silver.
Yeah. He fucking second places that shit as, like, a 50-year-old man, and he does it in the most, like, badass way, like, one hand in his pocket, like he
somebody's
just
like Turkish dad just rocks up and whips out his gun and he's like, boom, I do it. What
got
now?
it, motherfucker. Give me the medal.
This is what I do. Present me with my medal now, thanks. I would like to go home and grill and have a beer.
He talks about how much he loves his dog and his like.
Did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I would like to go home and hang out with my dog now, please.
Yeah.
I shot the shot. I got the medal. I would like to leave. I do not want to sleep on one of those uncomfortable cardboard Olympic beds again tonight. Send me home.
No,
let me be with my dog. I love that so much. I love that they have to, like, because, like, athletes are in the Olympic Village for, like, the training period as well. And so, like, apparently they used to have a real big problem, and it makes sense when you think about, like, these are very fit, very young, traditionally, people who are, like, in their prime physical form. They're gonna be fucking. They're gonna be fucking. And so, like, they started, like, the Olympic Committee was like, all right, we've had one too many times where somebody got pregnant and, like, like during the training period, and then 2 weeks later when they need to be out on the Olympic stage, they're pregnant and can't do their sport because they're doing like morning sickness and shit. What are we supposed to do? You know, we're having athletes like drop out left and right. And so they started just contriving more and more uncomfortable, unsteady beds to sleep in, so that like, as though they can't just fuck on the floor, mind you.
Yeah.
Like to the point where this
I
year,
don't know.
God, what was he, like Swedish? He's some Eastern European guy. I forgive me, I forget what nation. But like he was just like, there were reports of like him just sleeping in the park nearby, like on the ground under a park bench, because he's like, it's more comfortable. It's genuinely better.
Comfortable.
And there are athletes like they have like, what, don't they have powerlifting at the Olympics? Is that what it is? Powerlifting? I'm not a big powerlifting guy. I'm not a big Olympics guy, if you can't tell. But like the powerlifters were posting like, dude, this is a chair for me. They were having Jed level problems where it's like, I sit down on this like twin bed and it is a chair. Not only is it a chair, not only can I not lay down on this, like there's not enough room on it for me to lay down. There's also like, if I stack two of them side by side, I couldn't lay down on them. And also they're cardboard. I'm sitting on this thing and it's about to fucking collapse under me. I'm not sleeping here, you know? And so they're having to sleep on like the floors and shit. And it's like, dude, we've gone too far. I think it's on the athletes. Don't let them fuck, but like, provide them with protection, and like, if anybody gets pregnant, it's on them. Start having understudies prepared for this kind of thing. And I think they do. So I don't really get the big deal. Because it's like, all right, listen. I understand the temptation, but you were on the national stage competing for your nation. Like you're on an international stage competing for, like, to show everyone that your country is the best at rugby, I guess. Like, you know, this is clearly a sport you're passionate about, and clearly a nation you're passionate about. If this is a cause that can't keep you from, like, self-sabotage, then nothing ever will. What the fuck are you doing? You know? I think they can be trusted not to fuck. Because it's like, there are plenty of athletes who I'm sure aren't fucking. That guy in his 50s who just wants to go home and hang out with his dog and shoot his guns, I'm sure he's not fucking. Like, why does he have to sleep on one of the shitty cardboard beds? Well, I don't think he brought his wife with him, and even if he did, he's not the one who's gonna get pregnant. There's no MPreg at the Olympics. I checked. So, like, you know, he's not gonna... He's not gonna be ill if his wife gets pregnant, you know? So why does he have to sleep on the cardboard bed? Why does he have to sleep on the cardboard bed? You know, I don't... And it's like, I don't know if his wife is an Olympian, actually, so I don't want to say anything. But I don't think she is. So, what's the big idea?
I don't know if he even has a wife.
I don't know if you have a wife.
I don't.
I want to continue not knowing that.
Oh, okay. I guess I may or may not have a wife.
I've been Men in Blacking myself every time you mention that you're single.
Oh, I see.
That's why my memory's so bad.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You know, it's crazy. You know, I'm married. I can't... Anytime I find out that somebody is single, I just myself. I just look into the white light and I go, I can't take this.
Shoot yourself.
A world where... Sorry, you just reminded me of that moment we had in lore yesterday where you weren't there.
Oh
but
my God.
Everybody's explaining the story to me. I don't know if you were in my stream, but everybody's explaining the story to me, and Gyro goes, "You serious? Are you serious right now? You want to play this game?" And Gyro points his fucking gun at me, and I go, "Wow, it's almost like I can see right down the barrel." And he just goes, "All right, man." And he puts his gun down, and he's like, "Yeah, that's out of line. Never mind, I'll put it away." And like, I just like disarmed him with nothing but that. Like a Fallout quote is enough to get this man back down.
Like, that fucking kid from Vicky and Vance saved your ass. No, but like, last night in lore, I had to, again, I'm playing the antagonist, so I have to be an asshole. And I'm not even like a big antagonist. I'm the kind of antagonist where it's like, yeah, we're hanging out in the same place. You're just a fucking dick. I hate you. And Krim messages me, and Krim has like in their what's it called, boundaries, they're like, don't say anything violent around me. Like, that's upsetting to me. And it's like, okay, yeah. And I didn't. And I get a DM from them that says, I want to put a sword in your neck. And I was just like, oh, what? I was just like, okay, all right. I like lost it. I had to.
I heard you lose it.
moment.
No, I heard you lose it because somebody was like talking to you and they go, "Do you really think summoning Herobrine is a good idea right now? Listen to what everybody's telling you," and you just go, and then you're done. You're just like not speaking for a second. And then you go, "Yeah, no, I think it is a good idea. I think it is a great idea, you know." And you're like back at it immediately. You recovered well, but like it was such a funny one. I muted and laughed in my chat about it. It was great.
I told Chad about it too on my end. That's what I did. That took me so long. Was like I muted it. Was just like fucking Krim just messaged this to me. Christ, that was so fucking funny. But oh man,
dude, I got a tweet about Geronimo Stilton the other day.
Oh, I love Geronimo Stilton.
Are you a Geronimo Stilton fan, Jed?
As a wee lad, I was. I read almost all of his books. Because
I got a tweet that was like, dude, I wasn't familiar with Geronimo Stilton until a few months ago. But like, funnily enough, but like somebody on Twitter posted, dude, I would really love to fuck Geronimo Stilton. And it's like, what? Who the fuck is Geronimo Stilton? And I Google it. And then I'm immediately reminded of that person who showed up in my Twitch chat. That's how I found out about Geronimo Stilton. Showed up in my Twitch chat and he's like, wow, you look just like Geronimo Stilton. And it's like, who the fuck is Geronimo Stilton? And I Googled Geronimo Stilton as I did that time. You know, and I looked it up, and I do kind of look like Geronimo Stilton. I won't lie to you.
He's a mouse, though.
He is a mouse. That is the issue. That is a sticking point. But, you know.
Do you think Geronimo fucks?
Watch out, my husband. There are potential suitors out there for me, is the culmination of these two mentions of Geronimo Stilton together. There are other suitors awaiting me. The day that we're fucking done, suitors? Believe me.
What the fuck are you? Like a fucking prince?
Nah, but they're like lining up, dude. I told them to go home. I told them I'm married. I told them
why
I'm not
suitors?
They won't leave. They won't leave. They're talking about like the inheritance to the kingdom, and I'm not sure what the fuck they're on about. I'm not really. I'm not like I don't have any.
The castle that is the shed.
Do they want my toilet?
Yeah.
Is that what they want? The toilets are expensive. They want the
toilet in the shed.
But I live here.
Yeah, they want it.
I live here. I need to keep living here, despite my best interests. They can't have it. They can't have it.
Can I have it? Can I be a suitor?
No.
Oh.
But
I think your husband would be okay with it.
FNAF turns 10, like yesterday.
FNAF turns 10, yeah.
Yeah, there are people was the other day
who are like consciously on the internet that are younger than FNAF.
Yeah, no, there are people on the internet who don't know a world without Five Nights at Freddy's, and I feel like I feel the same way about people like young people on the internet not being around. Sorry, I've got hiccups. But I feel like I'm the same way. I think the realization means the same thing to me as someone who's been on the internet since like 07, 06. You know, reliably. I think that it means the same thing to me when I hear there are children on the internet who live in a world where they don't recognize the internet without like Undertale and FNAF fandom having existed.
Oh my God.
In the same way that like Gen X and like millennials here, like there are children in the world, there are adults in the world who don't know a world pre 9/11, where it's like, dude, 2015 is the year that changed everything. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like not for me personally.
Was our 9/11.
But like I just feel like it was like such a pivotal turning point for like, because like yeah, there were weird fucked up fandoms out there before that, like weird hyper obsessive fandoms out there before that. But I feel like the FNAF fandom is the first like not FNAF, but I feel like Undertale and then FNAF subsequently are both fandoms that were so massive and so full of like preteens and teenagers and just so toxic that like I feel like
it changed the internet.
They lowered the bar for how toxic a fandom could be and raised the bar for like how open a fandom can be and how many people can actively participate in a fandom at a time or have participated in a fandom at a time, to the point where like people are like, yeah, I'm in the breathing fandom. And it's like, no, you breathe. That's different. You know? If you're not going to like, because like my difference is right. Because like I even like struggle to say furry fandom because I don't consider it a fandom that much. It's like just like a cultural, like a subculture almost. It's like, it's too big to be a fandom. It's too big to be a fandom. A fandom is like the Doctor Who fandom, where we all joke about Rory dying a billion times, and like how we all like joke about Russell T Davies like jerking off. Yeah, we're back here. But like, there are furry references that I could make that like every other furry, like 9 out of every other 10 furries would get, sure. But on the whole, there's a lack of shared experience and a lack of centralization, I think, in what makes it a fandom, to where it's just like, this is too big. This thing has gotten too big. And thus, you know, it's not really a fandom anymore in my eyes, where it's like, you know, this is like
Not
a human
knows
subculture.
the hotel pizza incident, like, you know.
Yeah, no, like there's a billion different aspects of the furry fandom, and it's not really focused on one particular thing other than the concept of anthropomorphic animals as a whole. And like that branches off in every possible direction. And so like I feel like FNAF was the first time that like fandoms really started to get big enough that it's just like there were and still are FNAF fans who aren't fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, but like they really like Pop Goes. That's their thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I kind of
Where
like
it's just
Pop
like,
Goes.
well, no, but like people who are literally like, I like Pop Goes. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's. Or like, I like The Joy of Creation a lot, but I really, really don't like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like there are people who like offshoots of FNAF to where like the FNAF fandom is becoming less about Five Nights at Freddy's as time goes on and the main series of video games that makes up the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. And I feel like it's like more than most other fandoms because of like AUs, and Undertale falls under this as well, with like alternate universes and headcanons and fan games and alternate pieces of media and being created by like fans all the time that like they're equally, if not in some cases better than actual FNAF games in a lot of cases. To the point where fandom is just so goddamn large, and I feel like the cultural impact of that fandom rivals, and I hate to say it, Homestuck and the My Little Pony fandoms. I think those are also like massive ones. But those have been around, not so much My Little Pony, but almost. Those have been around almost as long as Homestuck has been around, almost as long as the internet has. Practically. Like, if your thing existed before 2004, it might as well have always been there, you know? And so, the way I see those is just like, yeah, no, the internet was just like that, kind of. But, like, those people tended to stay on their own little forums in their own little corners of the internet, primarily. And then,
they would leave
I think...
normal folks alone.
Yeah, I think... And they would be shunned, and they would be kind of laughed at for their interests, and it was right to do that. You horse-loving bitches. But, like...
J.
Yeah, no, /J, of course. But, like, they would be sort of sent to their own little corner of the internet to hang out away from the common folk. But eventually the nerds inherited the earth, so to speak, in that the fandoms inherited the internet once, like, Undertale and FNAF hit the scene. Because, like, a little bit of that happened with My Little Pony. I remember, like, that fandom sort of reaching out a little bit and touching a lot of corners of the internet. But I'd say 4 out of every 10 times they were swatted away with a broom and just did a little shoo, get out of here. Fuck you, get out, leave. You know?
Wait, fuck you.
Yeah, no, but like I feel like once it reached out to like Undertale, where it's like, dude, even like the most like non-queer, straight, like cis, like milquetoast motherfucker likes Undertale. Like, even, like, the I only listen to video game OST guys, all the way to just, like, the fucking, you know, the most chronically online people you've ever met. You know, like, those two groups of people, like, the most, like, this guy has been on the internet one whole time. He kind of just played Undertale because it was, like, free on the Xbox for a little bit, and heard it was really good as far as an RPG traditionally goes, and played it and realized its impact. Like, I think Undertale and the original Five Nights at Freddy's are such solid pieces of media on their own and such like trendsetters in their genres that like everybody can pretty much agree that like, I like it. Even if I don't love it, I like it. You know, it's fine. You know, so whereas like My Little Pony is a children's cartoon and Homestuck is like a web comic from like the deep trenches, dog. I don't want to like No, I don't want to do that. There's a barrier to entry there, whether it be like I don't want to watch a pony cartoon for little girls as a grown adult man, or I don't want to go and read this like webcomic that is nigh unreadable, I'll have you know. Like because it's such a spanner, Homestuck. It's such a wide spanning thing. And it's more than just a webcomic to where it's just like, oh, I gotta and it's so self-referential that it's like almost unreadable for the layman. But like my point is like those two fandoms stuck so hard together that like the Undertales and the FNAFs of the world could run, and I feel like those two franchises were really just the delayed starting gun of like fandom culture being such a forefront of internet culture, as opposed to like the internet just being one homogenized set of community, like a smaller set of niche communities where like usually their niche stays in their niche, and every now and again unintentionally a meme escapes their niche and becomes part of the larger internet lexicon. But generally it was just sort of one big homogenized group of people looking to talk about cars, or like not the franchise, the like mechanics, or
I like Cars the franchise.
For Cars the franchise also, I'm sure there were people there for that. Like fandom stayed in their little circles is what I'm saying. And I feel like those two were definitely the starting gun for fandom culture is now internet culture, where like, and it also it doesn't help that like the internet isn't forums anymore. It's like Twitter and Discord.
Yeah, that's like basically one big thing.
Like and like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Like those are the websites. Everybody's on those websites, and they're only on other websites because they're only on other websites to get to those websites most of the time. Yeah. And so it's just like, it's such a thing. I hate the homogenization of the internet. I'll talk about that another day because that's its own topic. But FNAF is 10, and I feel like it's a very nice time to look back on the internet and the fact that there are people who don't know what it was like living in a world where like not everybody was in a fandom, and not everybody's personality trait, the first thing you learn about them is that they're in a fandom online. But it also gives us a good time to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's as a franchise, because we've touched on it. We've talked about our favorite games.
A little bit.
And Into the Pit looks good. I think it's a nice departure. 5 Laps at Freddy's, not so much.
I don't know what that is.
It's an in-universe, like, made by Fazbear Entertainment racing game, and it's shitty. It's like a shitty, like, Garfield kart-ass racing game. And I think it might be funny to play it for a meme, maybe. But, like, I don't want to...
We'll play it tonight. We'll play it tonight, and we'll come back next
How
year.
much is 5 Laps at Freddy's? Yeah, how much... I'm not getting 5 Laps at Freddy's if it costs, like, $40. Hold on. Because Into the Pit is, like, $20.
I doubt it's $40.
It's free. Oh, no, the demo's free.
Yeah.
The demo's free. There's a demo out.
How much is the full one?
It's not out yet. It releases in 2025.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know if
we'll play the demo.
Podcast with the trailer. Yeah, we'll play the demo. We'll check out the demo or something. I don't know. But we'll report back on that at some point next week. But those are the things that they announced. We got some looks at FNAF Movie 2 this week.
I didn't see that.
Some rough looks at animatronics. We got to look at Willard Bonnie. We got to look at Toy Bonnie. We got to look at the Mangle. We got, just basically a look at all the animatronics as they stand currently, where they're like basically just 3D printed shells, which have yet to have cosmetics put on them or anything. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited for FNAF Movie 2. I had a good time with the first one. I think the second one is going to be a better film, probably. I anticipate the second one, now that we've gotten the very basics of what Five Nights at Freddy's is out of the way, I think the second one can finally start to give us more animatronic horror. I think that's something the first movie did pretty well when they were supposed to be scary. I think a lot of the kills were a little silly, but I thought the general like ambience when like there were supposed to be very horror heavy moments, like I think those were done very well. I think they pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
I like Foxy down the hallway and things like that were great. Can I ask one thing of Jason Blum and all the folks working on the FNAF 2 movie? Lay off with the fucking cupcake, please. It was a little funny.
They like him.
It was a little funny, and he still is kind of funny. It's still kind of funny.
He's kind of a silly dude.
He's just not very scary. I want a fucking scary FNAF movie, goddammit. I want proper
How
horror.
dare you?
Yeah, I don't think we're getting a
won't get it.
proper horror movie. Yeah, no, but I can dream.
Yeah.
I can dream of a world where this film is scary.
Yeah.
I honestly
Do you
think
dream about a world where you're watching a FNAF movie that is scary often?
no, not particularly. I had a dream the other night that I pulled my jaw out of my head. It was real weird.
What?
Yeah, no. Like, I was like, for some reason, let me run you through this dream. I don't like to talk about my dreams because I don't like to hear about other people's dreams. So I like to keep it to myself a lot of the time. But this one was particularly unsettling, where I was like, man, I wish there was some way I could check on my teeth. I wish I could, like, check on my teeth because I know they're, like, not in great shape because I haven't been to a dentist in a few years. And I've been getting toothaches lately, so that's been, like, a genuine, like, not dream concern of mine. I'm just like, I need to find a dentist. But like all the dentists in my area aren't taking my insurance, aren't taking like new patients right now, or some combination of the two. And so it's just like that's out of the question. But I had this dream where I was like, I need to check in on my teeth. I saw like a yellow spot on one of them. I'd like to look at it again. And I'm like rubbing my chin and I like click my jaw out of place. I'm just like, oh, that's fucked. Why could I do that? And I just I dislocate my jaw and then just pull it off. The skin comes with it. I don't know how. The skin comes with it. So like just like the whole bottom portion of my face is just off and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, I set it down on the table and I'm looking down at it. I'm like, oh, there's like black spots on my gums. That's something. Okay, well I have something to check out. And I take it and I pop it back in. I just like click, click, pop back in there. Like it just slots right back into place and pops in. I don't know. It was real
like
fucked.
A fucking action figure.
Yeah, like in the dream, it was like, no, this is like a normal thing that I can do. I didn't know that I could do it at the start of the dream, but by the end of the dream, I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is a thing I can do. That's perfectly normal and not horrifying in any way. And then I woke up and reality set in, and I just go, oh, horrid, And I still have these like images my brain created. No, but like, I almost did. It was real bad. It was real bad. I got a shower to wash the ick off from that particular one. I'm icking off.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, FNAF is 10. FNAF is 10. Speaking of jaw ripping,
off, like Russell T Davies.
Yeah, with his vibrator and his good episode writing. But I you threw me off completely just now. But no, I don't dream of a world where FNAF movie is actually scary. But I do want one. I do aspire to a world where FNAF is frightening again and not like doesn't have to be sanitized so that like babies can enjoy it as well.
I dream of a world where Russell T. Never mind, I'm not going back on this bit.
Yeah, we can't go back there. We've gone back. It's rules of three. Rules of three. We've already done it 3 times. We can't go back.
Can't go back.
Can't go back. We have to just keep moving forward. But no, yeah, FNAF 2. I had a good time with the FNAF movie regardless. I think the little glimpses into horror moments showed me a movie I'd like to watch more. But, I think it stacks up. I think it's good. I think FNAF movie 2 is going to be good. It's not coming this Halloween. It's coming next Halloween, right? Well, it's Halloween 2025 that we're getting that.
I think it is,
either
yeah.
way. God, I hate these production times on movies. I hate how early we know about movies, I think. Because movie production times haven't necessarily gotten longer. They have at post-COVID, but this is a problem I've had since pre-COVID. Of, like, they haven't necessarily gotten that much longer. That's not the issue. It's just that, like, either there are 2 sides, right? And it's either movie is coming out. We're working on movie. We're writing the script right now. We're in pre-production for it right now. See you in 4 years. Or it's, hey, this movie comes out this weekend. We haven't told you about it. It's leaked like 40 billion times, though. So this is your official confirmation that it's happening. But by now, you're probably all sick of hearing about it because it's just been speculated on so much because we won't fucking announce it until like right before,
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate it so much. There's no in between. Just announce it like 6 months out from when it comes out. If I have the same problem that I have with video games. I've talked about this on the podcast. If I look at a thing and I go, no matter, you could show me the most eye-watering, beautiful piece of cinema, like my ideal movie in trailer form, and I'll go, that's really cool. I want to see that. When does it come out? And it just says a title without a date on it, or alternatively, it says coming 2027. I'm out. I don't care. I couldn't give less of a shit about it now. Like, literally the second the title comes up, it's just like, I don't care. I might care in 3 years. Don't care now. You know? Because if I care right now, I'm going to think about it, and it's going to piss me off that, like, they announced it 3 goddamn years beforehand. Just give it time to simmer.
Yeah.
And I feel like part of it is, like, the urge for, like, the film industry moves so fast. Most entertainment industries move so fast at this point that, like, by the time a product comes out, it's already outdated a little bit. And so it's like, well, they announced this in 2015, and it would have been really good then, but it's 2024 now, and now it's out, and, you know. So, but, like, if you consider it historically, when it was conceptualized, it's like, no! God damn it, I want media that's good now! I want media that's good today, not would have been good a few years ago, so I guess it's alright. Make good movies now!
Make good movies now! Points at camera.
Yeah, you go out there and make a movie. D23 was like yesterday, and we got announcements. It's the Disney showcase where they show like, hey, we're making a Bug's Life 3. They're not making that. They didn't even make a Bug's Life 2, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I want a third one though.
I want a Bug's Life 3, but not a Bug's Life 2. I think it's going to be a Cars situation where it loops back around to being good, so if we could just skip the second one, that'd be great. They announced Incredibles 3, though. Oh, they announced Incredibles 3, and they did the thing, you know how in the second movie they just kind of split the eye into, like, a Roman numeral 2?
Yeah.
They did it again. It's got 2 splits in it now, and now it's like a Roman numeral 3. And somebody was like, alright, they gotta stop at 3. There's no fucking way they can get this eye to have a 4th slit in it. There's no way they can put a 4th slit in this eye, or do it as like a Roman numeral. They can't do it IV. IX, that's 9.
Yeah, IV.
Holy shit, we're jumping straight to Incredibles 9.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, a Bug's Life 3 and Incredibles 9 coming next year? Holy shit.
Holy shit, where
you heard it here first.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8?
Who the hell cares? A Bug's Life 9 or Incredibles 9, whatever.
Holy shit, alright, fuck it.
Let's do it. Bob is 75 years old. He's in the retirement home. For some reason, like, there's still like a heroes' rights issues. I don't know, man.
Photoshop Incredibles 9 logo, and that's what the title of of this episode is going to be. We're going to act like Incredibles 9 was announced.
No.
I'm not doing that.
You're not doing that. You know why? Because I've got things to do this evening that mean I can't upload the podcast tonight, so I have to upload it. I have to have everything ready and uploaded, like, immediately after we get done recording. But D23, and I do not want to wait the, like, 6 hours you'll sit and perfectionist this in Photoshop.
I perfectionist the shit out of everything in Photoshop, but yeah.
So I'll throw something up. I don't know what the thumbnail will be. Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5. This one I'm personally mad about. Because, okay, so Toy Story 4 ended with Woody getting a lot of character development and going away, you know, and leaving everything behind and finding a new life, you know, and that's perfect. That's great. I mean, I thought Toy Story 3 was a really good ending for those characters, but I suppose you can get more out of it. Fine. And a lot of people argued, like, oh, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. They work so well as a trilogy. Why the fuck would you make a 4th one that's so unnecessary? It's like, dude, every sequel ever is unnecessary. That's not really an argument for why it's bad. I get the lineup here. I get the implication and why you think it's unnecessary, and I kind of agree. But that's kind of a shit argument.
Yeah, it's kind of a piss-poor argument.
But now they're doing 5, and Woody's back. Woody's back, and he's back with the rest of the gang, and everything's fine. And it's like, okay, so 4 really was unnecessary then.
Yeah, it is worthless.
And apparently Toy Story 5 is about iPad kids.
Yeah! Woo!
We're doing a Skibbity Riz Ohio Toy Story. Let's go. We're doing brain rot Toy Story iPad kid moment. They gotta.
Oh man, Skibbity Toilet will be.
The themes of the Toy Story films are fantastic. With the first one being like, you know, what is worth it to you, and the second one being, you know, about what is your worth to yourself and the people around you, and then what is and then the third one being about being able to let go, and that sometimes things are okay. And all things end, and in those endings is a new beginning, you know? And then the 4th one about the sense of loss, and about like accepting endings for yourself when they're not thrust upon you, and moving on and finding the best life for yourself. And then like also exploring themes of like what it is to be, you know? And then the 5th movie, iPad kids. I'm sure there's more to it than that. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
That's the whole theme is iPad kids.
But that's so far, that's all they've shown us.
Skibbity toilet Riz.
Yeah. But that's what's happening there. And then we're getting, what else are we getting? We're getting like Frozen 4 or Frozen 3. What is it? What are they up to? 3 or 4?
I don't know.
I
saw the first one when it came out, and that was it.
I saw the first one, and I might get flamed for this. I think Frozen kind of sucks. I think that shit kind of blows. I think Frozen's fine. I think it's not
oversaturated.
I think I like. How'd I put this? I think in terms of like a modern fairy tale story, I think Tangled does it better.
I like
between
Tangled.
the two films. I like Tangled far more than I like Frozen. I'll tell you that much. But you know, Disney. The thing about Frozen is just like that. Frozen one was all right. I don't think I would dislike Frozen on its own. I don't think I do dislike Frozen in a vacuum. I haven't seen the second one. I hear good things, actually. Like, no shit, I hear good things about Frozen 2. But I just don't... It's like they decided to make a sequel to, like, the one Disney movie that, like, wrapped itself up flawlessly. Like, I feel like Frozen 1 ended...
Yeah.
It ended on a high note to a point where there's not really a good sequel point there. And then there's a second one. And now there's a third one. And it's like, I think the first movie was good. I don't think it's trilogy worthy. I don't know why everything has to be a trilogy lately. But...
Yeah, everything has to be a trilogy, period.
Like, I like trilogies. I like movie series.
You shit in trilogies now. In 2022, we all shit in trilogies.
That's a couple years back. We're introducing new shit to the past in 2022.
Yeah,
exactly. Shit in trilogies. Let me tell you something, though. Let me tell you something, though. In 2025, we're going to be shitting in quadrilogy. We're going to be shitting in sets of 4.
I can't do it anymore.
We're bringing it back. We're making shit 4, dude. It's going to be great. There's a new Shrek movie coming out, and that's pretty well accepted.
Huh? Okay, anyway, yeah. Nothing.
Every plop's a different shit, probably.
Alright.
But, no, yeah, I think a new Shrek movie got announced, and DreamWorks is fucking killing it, so I expect that to be good. Cool. People are really excited about Shrek 5 finally coming out. They brought All-Star by Smash Mouth back. It's great.
Holy shit, I love
Rest in peace to the Smash Mouth guy.
Didn't he die of like an overdose?
No, I think he died of like heart failure because of an overdose. I'm not sure.
That's
it wasn't directly an overdose. It wasn't. Well, no, he didn't overdose. He didn't overdose, right? He like did a bunch of drugs and then had a heart attack. Not in that order. He had a heart attack because he did a bunch of drugs in the past, is what I'm saying. Like his heart failure was primarily due to drug abuse. I think. Don't quote me on this. I have no idea what his cause of death actually was, but I'm pretty sure it was heart disease, and I'm pretty sure it was drug related. You can Google it if you like while I talk about this. Google it. Yeah, you Google why Smash Mouth Man isn't with us anymore, and I'll keep talking about D23.
Why is Smash Mouth Man dead? Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth died.
Hey now,
Monday.
Darren All-Star
from acute liver failure.
Oh, it was liver failure. I knew it was some sort of organ failure of some kind.
Yeah, I love some sort of organ failure.
I have some sort of organ failure right now. In fact, it hurts. Oh, yeah, show must go on. Like I said, I get sick. We do an episode anyway. We're not missing a week. I'll come back as a ghost to do the show. Don't worry. Yeah, no, it's great. But D23, Daredevil Born Again. I'm excited about that. People are like posting the trailer for it.
But that sounds cool.
It's a sequel series to Daredevil, where they're apparently doing comic book guys on TikTok have told me not that it has nothing to do with the Born Again comics, because the storyline of the Born Again comics was adapted in season 3 of Daredevil. So like it probably has nothing to do with the name. The name is probably just to signify that it's a sequel series, which I think it's a cool name anyway, so I give them a pass. And then they're doing White Tiger, which I'm told is White Tiger. The thing about White Tiger and Daredevil, the only association they have is from a comic series that's very courtroom heavy, which I love. I
Mhm.
love my lawyer shows, and the courtroom scenes in Daredevil were really good. And I like the actor for Matt Murdock, whose name escapes me at the moment. I like him a lot, and I think he's very good in those scenes. And I like it's so good. It got the Punisher a kind of middling, not quite bad, not quite good spinoff. With Shane
Wow.
from The Walking Dead. It was great.
Let me
Can
tell you something.
we talk about my character development with that actor? Can we talk about the character development I've had with that actor? Where when he showed up in The Walking Dead, I was
Sure.
like, "Holy shit, the Punisher's here!" And now I'm calling him Shane from The Walking Dead instead.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
the Punisher character that he
Full
did
flip
was
on.
like good. You know, we've gone a full tilt, full tilt,
Full
the other direction, full tilt. But it's got some more Wilson Fisk. We love the Kingpin. We love Daredevil Kingpin especially. He's really good. Have you seen Daredevil, Jed? Have you watched Daredevil?
I've not.
We should
I've
watch
seen the first
Daredevil. It's
episode.
really good. It's really good. We should watch Daredevil. I'll add that to the list of media we got to get around to at some point. Especially before
Yeah.
Born Again comes out. Because Born Again looks real good. He's getting a new suit, and the new suit looks really good.
Jello.
There's some really good fighting in it. But he's gonna be like people are telling me that like the speculation is that he's going to be defending White Tiger in court for being framed for a crime, a murder specifically is what happens in the comics. And I like everything I hear about Daredevil comics. I haven't bothered to read any, but I like every single fact I've ever heard about Daredevil as a comic series, and I might
Like
get around
every
to it.
single fact ever.
Every single fact ever, which isn't a ton, but I still like my Daredevil. I still like my Daredevil. I hope
Daredevil.
I hope that
He's Catholic
yeah, he's
in a
Catholic.
world where gods are real. Like fucking.
Well, okay, he
Mephisto.
did. I found out in that same video he did get sent to fight actual Christian Satan under like at some point in the comics he did get sent as like the embodiment of Christ's love to go and fight Satan. Like actually for real, that's a thing that happened. So biblical God exists too, apparently.
All right.
I don't know if that's canon MCU, but that's canon Marvel Comics, evidently. But and again, that's all speculation on it, but non-speculation based on just solely what's in the trailer. White Tiger's there, a bunch of characters. Oh, back on my speculation shit for 1 second. A bunch of characters in this show are like mid-level like mutants from the comics, and so people are expecting that this Daredevil series is going to start to lean into Marvel's Mutants arc. I think the Marvel Mutants arc could save us. I want to say that if they drop all the multiverse shit and end the multiverse event that they're doing well, and then kick straight into like, all right, so now mutants are beginning to crop up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then the X-Men, which we're getting an X-Men movie, and the Fantastic Four are here. And we're getting a Fantastic Four movie. We got to go look at the suits. We got to go look at Johnny Storm in his Fantastic Four suit. And it's so 60s sci-fi. I love it. I love it to death. It's a sweater. You know that motherfucker is comfy. You can Google it if you like. I'll show you after stream.
Hell yeah.
Or after the podcast. And again, I can't pull it up, but just go look it up for yourself.
Better than Fantastic?
Better than Fantastic, for sure. But you know what's weird? People have flipped on the old Fantastic Four movies. Because spoilers, Johnny Storm, fucking Captain America, what's his name? Chris Evans? Chris Evans. Chris Evans, that's the right Chris, because Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Chris Evans is in it as a cameo character. He's in Deadpool 3 specifically as a cameo character.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I'm pretty sure that one got let out of the bag. But, you know, I'm not the first to say that. And with the advent of Johnny Storm, played by Chris Evans, being back, people have been retrospectively rewatching the Fantastic Four movies with him in it. And I've been seeing clips, and it's like, man, these are better than I remember. They do really, like, they aren't great movies, but they do nail the Fantastic Four's dynamic with each other. And I love that. But people are starting to flip on these movies and go, it was actually good the whole time. And you know what? Fine. If this is what it takes to get good Fantastic Four media, fuck it, whatever. I'm pretty sure that the old Fantastic Four was good thing that we're doing is going to culminate in a really good Fantastic Four movie coming out in the MCU, and then everybody going, the old Fantastic Four that everybody agreed was shitty 2 years ago is better, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Which sucks, but, you know, they're really leaning into, like, the 60s aesthetic in the Fantastic Four thing. I don't know if it's in the 60s. I don't know if we're retconning that, like, the Fantastic Four have just been around the whole time. It's got Pedro Pascal in it as Reed Richards. which is
It's
a
got
fan
that guy
favorite.
from Stranger Things.
It's got that guy from Stranger Things. Yeah. I like the casting. I think the casting's pretty good. I'd like to
Yeah,
see the thing. I would like to see the thing. Like
good
the
thing.
design that they have for the whole thing. And then I think they showed
Well,
him,
I
and I
mean,
just forgot. But
the
I'd like to
design for
see
the whole
him in
thing. What is
motion.
the
The
who's
thing,
him? What
Marvel's
thing?
the thing. Yeah,
Oh, oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
I
the
see. I
thing.
thought you were
Marvel's
talking
the
about a
thing.
thing.
No, 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 not
Yeah.
a thing. The thing. Big Rock Man, Ben
Oh,
Grimm. I'd like to see the
oh,
design for
Ben
Ben
Grimm.
Grimm. I'd like to see Ben Grimm moving around. I'd like to see the CG for him. I know it's gonna look
Mhm.
visually impressive, but I want to know if it's actually going to look good. Um, you know, that's my
Mhm.
thing. But like so far, really high hopes. I think they do this Fantastic Four movie and they land it. I think they introduce mutants to the MCU and the X-Men and they land it and they start doing their own X-Men shit completely off timeline from the X-Men Fox movies now that that universe is dead. Um and then they land that pretty easily. And then that I think that we get Avengers Doomsday, which Robert Downey Jr., I believe we already talked about, is playing Doctor Doom, but it's unconfirmed if he's Tony Stark or not.
Yeah.
I can almost get down with it if they do Victor Von Doom justice and they don't bring back literal multiverse evil Iron Man to show up and be our Doctor Doom, and they have him play
I.
actual comic accurate Doctor Doom. Fine. Robert Downey Jr. is a fine actor as far as acting prowess goes. He'll pull
But
it
why does he
off.
need to be back? I think I would be. I think I would be
I'd
less
want a new
upset if they
actor.
did the Iron Man thing.
I'd want a new actor. I would be upset if they did the Iron Man thing because you don't know Doctor Doom like I do. I know Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's one of my. The Fantastic Four are my favorite Marvel superhero group, and Doctor Doom is one of my favorite villains because he's like the villain of all time.
Yeah.
Like you just look at him and you look at the like he just radiates villainy. I don't know. And then obviously I'm a big MF Doom fan, and I can't pretend that doesn't add to my existing love of Doctor Doom. And they better drop an MF Doom track somewhere in the soundtrack for Avengers Doomsday, preferably something from Operation Doomsday. But either way, there better be MF Doom in it. And I think if they land that, I think if they do this mutants arc well, people will forget about the multiverse stuff a little bit and go, all right, we're so back. We're so back with the MCU. Because they're bringing back old
Yeah.
directors from like phases 1 and 2 of the MCU, and we're bringing back old talent, and I think, in new roles, and I think it can work out. I think this can be a solid rebound, personally.
I hope so.
I hope
I
so
could
too.
see this be like the like crash and burn of it though.
Well, the way I see it, they're already crashing and burning. So if I get a good Fantastic
Yeah.
Four movie and then this whole thing dies immediately after, fine.
Oh shit! I got what I wanted.
I got mine. I'm pulling the ladder up after me. Fuck all y'all Marvel fans who wanted more X-Men. You already got some stellar X-Men movies. Let me have my
They're
good
really good.
Fantastic Four. And I'm gonna
But
fucking
you
what?
haven't seen the X-Men movies, have you?
I've seen them mostly. I've seen them in good bits and pieces. There was a point in the 2010s where you couldn't sit down and watch a movie with somebody without it being an X-Men film. And so I've seen like the front half of some of them. I've seen the back half of some of them. I've never been a big X-Men guy. I will admit. I've never been a huge X-Men guy. I'm a
We gotta
Fantastic Four
watch
guy.
X-Men.
We gotta put back through the X-Men franchise. Yeah, because
I love X-Men.
I haven't given it a fantastically big shake. But I will. I will. We'll add that to the list of things we need to watch. Which we've already added to today, but I'll add another. I'll add another. Perhaps another.
Since it's relevant, we'll do 2 Kevin Smith movies and then 2 X-Men movies.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, we're moving.
What?
I went to move something in my list and I grabbed an asset in OBS and just started dragging us away.
I thought you were saying like right now we're going to Florida, or somehow this would change our like this week's plans was us moving.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you want to talk about Kevin Smith real quick as our final topic of the day?
Yeah,
Maybe if it lasts 10 minutes. Let me run you through what we watched. We watched Clerks 2. We haven't talked about Clerks 2 yet.
Mm-hmm.
Did we?
I don't think we did. No,
No, yeah. We saw Clerks 2 since we last saw you guys, and Clerks 2 is
we
real
saw
good.
Zach and Miri made a porno.
Yeah, well, I want to talk one by one, Jed. We're gonna do what we did last time. We're
Okay.
gonna run through them. I don't want to cover them all at once. But Clerks 2, decent follow up to Clerks 1, ends really well. The biggest value of that movie is the ending, genuinely. Not the donkey show, but the ending that like the two main characters own the gas station, like own the convenience store from the first movie, and so like now like it sets up Clerks 3 very well is the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest value this film can provide. And there are a few good bits in it. It's just a little
I
edgy.
didn't think it was all that bad.
It's just a little edgy.
It is a bit edgy.
Is my issue with it. There is a scene, like I mentioned this slur scene, but I forgot until we watched it that he's like, no, this isn't a slur. Here are all the slurs I know, and just starts listing off slurs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, for comedic value, it's funny because the guy is fucking stupid and he's played to be fucking stupid. And it's obvious
a big
that
asshole.
Yeah, and a big asshole. It's played off that like, hey, this is the biggest asshole we could possibly create, and he's saying a slur. All right? We're not condoning slurs here on this film or on this podcast. But there are slurs said in the film, so if slurs being said is something that triggers you or goes against your personal policy, feel free to skip this one. You're not missing much.
Yeah.
You're not missing.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's an atrociously colorful movie, might I add. It's got that 2000s problem that I talk about in 2000s comedies. I think I've talked to you about this before, where for some reason whoever does the color grading on these movies cranks the saturation. They just grab the saturation by the balls and rip it way out of where it should be. It's a nice change of pace though, because the first one was in black and white. So as much as that decision was definitely made for its time and not because the first one was in black and white, it does feel like a joke in and of itself of just like, we're gonna hella overcorrect this time. We're gonna have a shitload of color in this movie, in one of our most off-color movies, might I add, comedy-wise. But that's Clerks 2. I don't know. I don't feel bad about it. I just, like, it's not my favorite.
I don't think it's bad as other people say it is.
I think it's like if you made a great loaf of bread, like the best loaf of sourdough you could possibly make, and then you put one singular Kraft single in between. It's like, I'm fine with Kraft singles. They're not bad. In fact, they can be good in some contexts. But this bread is sullied by having this Kraft single. These two pieces of bread are sullied by having this Kraft single sandwich between them, and that's their use case. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like as close to a black spot on the Clerks franchise as you can get. You know?
Yeah. Mainly because it's like I don't know if I would call it a black spot. It is a black center, but yeah.
Yeah, no. But like Zach and Miri Make a Porno is the second movie we watched.
That was bad.
That
I will confidently say was bad.
So it was the first movie that Kevin Smith didn't have Jay and Silent Bob in it. He wrote the movie and he directed the movie, but he didn't. Oh no, he wrote it and directed it. No, he wrote it and edited it. Right? Yeah, no, he wrote it and edited it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
He wrote it and edited it. That's what he did. He didn't direct. He had a few of his friends on set, obviously. There were some old faces, some new faces. And no bears, unfortunately. So not quite the Cleveland show. But we did. It's a Seth Rogen movie more than it's a Kevin Smith movie, I think, is my issue with it. It just strays so far into Seth Rogen's category that, like, this kind of just sucks. And we're in a lull.
Like, oh man, it just wasn't a very good movie, to be honest. Like the punchlines didn't punch. It the third act falling out was like the most contrived third act falling out I've ever seen.
Which are already contrived to begin with, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Doing
but like,
a third
you'd
act
agree with
falling
me that
out
was one of the worst.
But that one was pretty egregious. Yeah, I don't know. Not really for me. Zack and Miri, I can say, is not one that I've gone back to. In fact, I haven't ever seen it all the way through before we watched it this time, because when I mentioned it while we were watching it, but the first time I ever saw that movie was a number of years ago, and I was watching it and going, oh, I like Kevin Smith, I'll put this on. And I put it on, and about halfway through the movie, I go, what the fuck is this? I don't like this shit. And I just cut it off, and I think I just rewatched Clerks that night instead. So that's Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Watch Clerks instead, even if you've already seen it. Even if you watched it recently because of our recommendation. Turn off Zack and Miri halfway through and just go watch Clerks. It's like eating shit and washing it down with your favorite beverage. It'll be a nice refresher. Speaking of movies that are frankly shit, Cop Out. I didn't think Cop Out was as bad as you thought it was.
God, we watched that.
Yeah, that one's very forgettable.
I forgot everything about that movie, actually.
It's a literal buddy cop movie. And I think it's fine. It's the first Kevin Smith movie. It's the first movie in Kevin Smith's filmography he didn't write. So, and a lot of what you go to Kevin Smith for is the writing. Frankly, his dialogue scenes and his like sense of humor and his sense of heart are the reasons that you watch a Kevin Smith comedy. And this didn't have much of any of those. I don't think the emotional center was all that good. I don't think Bruce Willis in it. Yeah, Bruce Willis was in it. He was one of the cops in it, and then the other guy was name. He's that very loud. He's that very loud comedian with like who always sounds like he has a mouthful of food going on.
I don't remember.
But I forget his name. It's okay. It's got a W in it. You'll find him. Go look on the IMDb page. I'm not your IMDb, but Cop Out is fine. I think it's a fine cop movie, but if you're doing a Kevin Smith watch along, this one's okay to skip. This one is okay to skip.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's in the shared universe. I'm not sure it's in the shared universe. I'm pretty sure it's not because he didn't write it. I wouldn't count it off rip. I'm sure.
Zack and Miri isn't either.
Like stupid fucking nerd somewhere on like a Kevin Smith forum has probably argued this to death, but I'm pretty sure it's not a part of it. And yeah, no, that's Cop Out. And we're in sort of a lull, but the next one up we've got is Red State, which I don't know much about, but is a thriller film. It's a horror thriller about lady with gun. There's a lot more to it than that, but I'm not gonna read off a fucking synopsis. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Lady with Gun next week. We'll talk about Red State next week. But after that, we've got Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie, which, I think a Jay and Silent Bob solo movie will... This is why I've been urging you to watch Red State with me for the past 4 nights.
Yeah.
Was because I want to watch more Jay and Silent Bob, and it's like, dude, the sooner we get Red State over with, the sooner... Because, like, I know we're putting Red State off because we're in this slump, and it's sort of an unknown. But the sooner we get it over with, the sooner we'll be back in heaven, I
would not say Jay and Silent Bob is heaven, but it is very enjoyable.
Comparably
heaven, absolutely, yeah. No, I'm just thinking about is somebody's heaven where it is just Jay and Silent Bob.
I'd hang out with Jay and Silent Bob in heaven, sure.
I'd hang out with them in heaven, but like if somebody's personal heaven is hanging out with Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah. And I only have one more topic here. I'm gonna get out of the way quick because it's already hella outdated. The boogie situation is fucking wild. Don't fake cancer.
I don't know anything about it. Don't fake cancer. Shitty guy.
Don't fake cancer for like cryptocurrency sells.
Do fake cancer for
Don't fake Don't fake cancer. Don't fake cancer for a cryptocurrency pump and dump scheme. I can't believe I have to say this in current year. But that's the note we'll end on. Do not fake cancer. Have a good rest of your week. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the first week of the first day of your week with us. You threw me off. I was. And go check our hosts out. Me and Jed. We've got our cards. My card is new and improved. Link down below. And the description for the show is down there. These premiere on YouTube every Sunday at 3 p.m. You can look at our backlog on YouTube or Spotify. We've got all our episodes that are available on both of those platforms, and you can check it out and have a great time. And next week, we've got Chalubi Live if he doesn't chicken out on us. So join us next week for a conversation with content creator, doctorate haver, and WillowSMP former owner, Chalubi Live. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.